morning to you. So, I found out something fun today. A little sad and a little fun. Well, let me ask you this. Does this song ring a bell? I'll play a little bit of it and take you through the chorus just to jog memories.
Breaker 19, this here's a rubber duck. You got a copy on me, Big Ben, come on? Oh yeah, 10-4, Big Ben, for sure. By golly, it's clean clear to Flagtown, come on? Yeah, it's a big 10-4 there, Big Ben. Yeah, we definitely got the front door, good buddy. Mercy sakes alive, looks like we got us a convoy.
Mercy sakes alive, it looks like we got us a convoy.
Well, the dark of the moon on the 6th of June in a Kenworth pulling logs. Cab over Pete with a reefer on and a Jimmy hauling hogs. We is heading for Bear on I-10 about a mile out of Shaky Town. I says, Pigpen, this here's a rubber duck and I'm about to put the hammer down. We got a little old convoy rocking through the night. Yeah, we got a little old convoy. Ain't she a beautiful sight? Come on and join our convoy. Ain't nothing gonna get in our way. We gonna roll this trucking convoy across the USA. Convoy. This convoy and join our convoy. Ain't nothing gonna get in our way. We gonna roll this trucking convoy across the USA. Convoy.
Breaker, Big Ben, this here's a duck, and you want to...
First of all, I don't think I've ever seen this guy. Like, I have no memory of this gentleman, like, visually, but I totally remember these songs, or this song, and I remember some of the other ones. Roses for Mama, I was reminded, and then there was another one, I think, No More Country Music, and a few others that rang some bells to me looking at them. And I feel like there was a whole nother trucker song that I haven't found yet that I believe was also very popular. Anyway, what I think is so fascinating about this, so April 1st, 2022 is when he died, which is the sad part of the whole thing, but I learned a lot that I didn't even know, and I just find fascinating. So this song was out, I think, in 76, and what I think is fascinating about all of this is this guy was an executive, like an ad executive person, and he was doing an ad campaign for Old Home, and him and Chip Davis, so he was writing songs with Chip Davis, and the only reason that I mentioned that name is that my understanding is that Chip Davis went on to start Mannheim Steamroller, and so he was the composer. But they put these ads on for Old Home Bread. And I'm going to play a commercial here in a minute because I'm so excited that I found the commercials. And I don't think I ever knew this before. But the commercials were getting this huge play, and people were like calling radio or TV stations and saying, when is that ad playing? When is that ad playing? So they could see them. This guy ended up getting a record deal. I did not know he had 9 albums in total. This is like the first rapper, right? Like, I know it's not rapping. I know it's technically like spoken word, but this is just really cool. So this guy from Iowa, creates these ads, and then it just goes and takes on this whole new embodiment. And just watching him during the chorus, like, I don't know how long this, how many times he had performed. And I don't think any of this is live. I think it's all lip syncing or whatever. I guess if you're talking, you're still lip syncing. So anyway, I just think it's just so neat that happened, and then it turned into this whole other thing, and he has this amazing resonant voice, and this song was so different to what was on the radio when this came out. In my memory, this song stuck out big time to me because it was just so different. I think as my little kid brain was like processing that this is even a song because he's not singing, Anyway, so I found the ads, and I want to play an ad or two. Look at the color.
Well, trucking Old Home, I was working the blizzard. She is colder than the Minnesota well digger's gizzard. I was up to my drive shaft and 18 inches of slush.
Wait, what? Colder than a what? I'm not sure what I just heard there. Okay, let's back up.
Home, I was working the blizzard. She is colder than the Minnesota well digger's gizzard. I was up to my drive.
Colder than a Minnesota well digger's gizzard? I think that's what I'm hearing. Minnesota well diggers gizzard. Okay, that's hilarious. All right, a phrase I have never heard before in my life, and probably after this won't again, but but I think it's
Old home, I was working the blizzard. She is colder than the Minnesota well digger's gizzard. I was up to my drive shaft in 18 inches of slush. Heavy white stuff. I had a jackknifing rig that drove like a sled. Had a busted chain and a load of bread for the old home filler up and keep on a truckin' cafe. Mavis was snowed in. Well, I stomped my boots off and gave her a grin. Shook out my cuffs and tracked on in. Says, how's about warming up a stool for an old home sled dog named CW? Says, I'll tell you what, instead of chewing the fat, I'll fix a 2-on-1. I says, what's that? She says, a pair of fried eggs on a slice of that old home stone ground and a quart of hot chili. She says, it's cold outside. I bet your truck won't start. Says, you know what to say, cold truck, warm heart. Well, she threw me a look that'd melt the crust off a half a loaf of old home butter top. Well, it snowed 6 feet up a telephone post, but Mavis and me stayed warm as toast at the old home filler up and keep on a truckin' cafe. Yeah, old home is good bread.
Okay, I think we should watch this one too. He pops the question to Mavis. There was like a theme of this C.W. McCall and Mavis and the diner and the whole thing that ran throughout these commercials. I don't know if it ended up in his songs. All right, let's watch together.
Well, Saturday night, and I'd parked my truck. I'd just got paid. I had $100, and Mavis and me was sitting in a booth drinking coffee, playing the jukebox. I says, I got a surprise. It's really neat, but I ain't got it here. It's across the street from the old home filler up and keep on a truckin' cafe. She says, let's do it. So we locked the door and turned the sign around. We went a-walking across Pisgah Town to the F.E. Miller Department and General Mercantile. He features old home bread, of course. Well, we trucked on back to the notion counter, and I says to F.E., you can lay it upon her. And he reached in a drawer and come out with a little white box with a ribbon on it. Well, I paid F.E. his $98, went back across the street and opened it up. And you should have seen the look in them big blue eyes when she seen it. I says that little old ring cost a lot of bread, and from there on out, nothing else was said at the old home filler up and keep on a truckin' cafe. Yeah, old home is a promise.
I don't know if I've seen those commercials before. The tagline at the end of "Old home is good bread." That sounded familiar to me. The second one did not, so I have no idea. But anyway, let me go find a snippet of "Roses for Mama," and I'll just jog your memory if you're still with me on this. All right, so I'm going to start at the beginning because the beginning notes are very telling for somebody who knows a song, and then I'll skip a little ahead, but I'm not going to play too far because I don't want to ruin the punchline. It's just a memory jogger. Those first few notes always caught me.
I was driving through this little town in Georgia when I remembered today's Mama's birthday. Well, I thought I'll just stop and wire some flowers. Shouldn't take too long, then I'll be on my way.
Anyway, that is a little snippet of that. Again, just a memory jogger. So I just found it fun. I love, as you probably know, I love music and the stories behind the music and the people. And this is one of those songs that it was a #1 song. Just looking through the videos, he had been on Bandstand too. I didn't see the performance of him on Bandstand, but I watched a tiny bit of the interview, and it's fun to know that he was also a truck driving CB kind of guy. So I guess one of the other things they said is the language that was used in Convoy, sort of just popularized some of the language. So I don't know. I thought that was interesting, and I guess wasn't clear in what I read that if his language was the actual language or if he had different language for the ads and then that became popularized. I'm not sure what direction that went. Found out some new stuff about an old song that was very much in my memory banks in the past. Rest in peace, Bill Fries, C.W. McCall. It's always sort of like a weird bummer when somebody's death is the thing that brings you back to kind of remembering their stuff. I mean, it's what happens. And it's, of course, something that brings somebody to the forefront of our brains. Nonetheless, it's a bummer that it took that to get there. But anyway, in celebration of his life and his music, and I had no idea how many albums. I had no idea he had like 9 albums. That's so fascinating and cool to me. However, there it is. So I hope you enjoyed that step back down memory lane and learned something new and had fun. See you later.